No, I mean, it's such a big deal to be able to walk away from something that provides so much stability, but it's also gives a sense of the divine timing that you talk about. And it also has led you to what you do. I don't know if it's really a side gig, but you do authentic retreats for ayahuasca, people who want to get involved with ayahuasca. So that's a whole nother topic that we'll get into in a second. But
Hmm.
just to talk about your physical therapy life and how you're really focusing on people over 30 dealing with knee problems in particular, and throwing some hot takes out there. I guess to get, all the instant gratification on Instagram, you kind of have to say some crazy things to catch people's attention. You say that
Exactly.
the ACL is the most overrated ligament there is. So can you talk about that take?
You're completely right, just of like having to have like a hot take on stuff. So you're right. That's my hot take. Fuck the ACL. It's super overrated. The reason I say that, so all right, let's take a step back. I went to grad school at the University of Delaware. University of Delaware was the institution in the entire world that pioneered the fact that ACL ruptures can be treated non-operatively. So prior to like 20 years ago, this was never heard of. If you tore your ACL, you just went and got surgery. That's just how it was. And then some researchers literally at University of Delaware were thinking maybe we can actually train people to improve the inherent stability of like their neuromuscular system, right? So train up their strength, train up their balance, coordination, all this shit to compensate for the lack of having an ACL. So I learned, like, my
Mm.
orthopedics classes were taught by the woman who pioneered this in the entire world. All right. So when I make that joke, the ACL is the most overrated ligament in the body, I say that as someone who has had entire semesters worth of research about ACL injuries. I'm not just some dipshit who's like throwing that out there. All right. So it still is my hot take though, because I personally know people whose entire business is coaching people after an ACL reconstruction. I know orthopedic surgeons who base most of their practice on doing ACL reconstruction surgeries. I just feel like it gets so much hype, right? Like no one ever talks about even like the PCL. No one talks about the ulnar collateral ligament in your elbow. No one talks about any other ligament except for the ACL. Everyone knows what that is. So that's why I say it's the most overhyped, overrated ligament in the whole body. You don't fucking need it. If I tore my ACL right now, I would not get surgery on it. If you tear your ACL, you're going to be potentially completely fine if you know what you're doing with your rehab. Unfortunately, most people don't know that that's possible and they don't know what they're doing.
And that's why coaching is so important, because I feel like there's so many exercises that you put on your Instagram page that I would have never thought of doing. Also, a sidebar is my boyfriend was in a motorcycle accident and he ruptured his patella, and he never even
Ooh,
knew from that he actually had a little bit of an ACL tear as well. But he only
sure.
found that out because he ruptured his patella and they looked deeper into it. So he was like rolling and doing all this stuff with like a slightly partially torn ACL, which is crazy because I broke my hand doing my first competition, and I was just scared. The first thing the doctors were going to say is like, you need surgery," because there's a sense of, oh, well, if people get surgery or get prescribed medicines, big pharma is going to be making the money off of it. And I feel like that's a
Mhm.
big thing that you wanted to get away from. Like you want to
Absolutely.
provide information for people that don't want to go the operative route.
The most important thing for me, Alex, is like putting people's health back in their hands. So like our entire society is based on selling us a lie that you're sick or broken and you need to buy medication or you need to buy products to be happy or you need to have a surgery or you need to see a therapist to fix you. So I I have that hot take, right? Of like no surgeries, right? Of course, surgery sometimes is the right thing, but that needs to be a choice that you make understanding all of the factors at play. So when I say something like the ACL is the most overrated ligament in the body, it is that hot take. The real message is how can we put your health and the decisions about